Coming up on 5 Minute News. Biden administration suing Texas over voting restrictions. US government approves $650 million weapons sale to Saudi Arabia. And British Conservatives make Uturn on corruption rules. It's Friday, November 5. I'm Anthony Davis. The Biden administration on Thursday sued Texas over new election laws that outlasted a summer of dramatic protests by Democrats who remain unable in Congress to pass legislation they say is needed to counteract a year of Republicans adding restrictive voting measures nationwide. The lawsuit does not go after the entirety of a sweeping bill signed in September by Republican Governor Greg Abbott in Texas, which already has some of the nation's toughest voting rules. Instead, the challenge filed in a San Antonio federal court targets provisions surrounding mail-in voting requirements and voter assistance, which the Justice Department argues violate federal civil rights protections. It now puts two of the Texas GOP's biggest conservative victories this year in court against the federal government, as the Justice Department is simultaneously trying to stop a new Texas law that has banned most abortions since September. But time is running out, and Senate Republicans have repeatedly blocked federal legislation to change election laws, including another attempt on Wednesday. Opponents of the Texas law known as Senate Bill 1 had already sued the state, accusing Republicans of setting out to disenfranchise minorities and other Democratic-leaning voters. The bill specifically targets Democratic strongholds and was followed by Abbott weeks later signing new voting maps that fortify the GOP's slipping dominance amid the state's explosive growth. Texas is among at least 18 states that have enacted new voting restrictions since the 2020 election, according to the Brennan Center for Justice. The laws are part of a national GOP campaign, including in Florida, Georgia, and Arizona, to tighten voting laws in the name of security, partly driven by former President Trump's false claims that the election was stolen. The United States has approved a $650 million sale of air-to-air missiles to Saudi Arabia, the Pentagon announced, in what would be the Biden administration's first major weapons deal with the Gulf Kingdom. In a statement on Thursday, the Pentagon said the U.S. State Department approved the sale to help Riyadh counter current and future threats. The proposed sale will support U.S. foreign policy and national security of the United States by helping to improve the security of a friendly country that continues to be an important force for political and economic progress in the Middle East, the Pentagon said. It added that Massachusetts-based firm Raytheon would be the principal contractor for the sale of AIM-120C-7C8 advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles and related equipment. The sale comes months after President Joe Biden said he would end U.S. support for Saudi Arabia's offensive operations in Yemen, including relevant arms sales. The sale does not require congressional approval, but lawmakers can block the deal by passing a disapproval bill in the Senate and the House of Representatives. The missile sale follows the U.S. approval of a $500 million helicopter maintenance deal for the kingdom in September. Saudi Arabia's critics were quick to slam the deal on Thursday. As a candidate, Biden berated Saudi Arabia over the Yemen war and the killing of US-based journalist Jamal Khashoggi, calling the kingdom a pariah. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's government made an embarrassing U-turn on Thursday on plans to overhaul the system for combating parliamentary corruption, with the lawmaker whose case had provoked the row quitting his job. Faced with unhappiness in his party and headlines accusing the Prime Minister and his Conservative administration of sleaze, the government said it would think again about the proposals it had pushed through Parliament only the day before. Backed by Johnson, Conservative lawmakers narrowly voted to halt a proposed 30-day suspension from Parliament of Owen Paterson, a former minister who'd been found guilty by Parliament standards watchdog of repeatedly lobbying for 2 firms, which paid him nearly 3 times his annual salary. Instead, they pushed through a proposal to delay the suspension and set up a new committee to review his case and the wider system of investigating lawmakers. But with growing outrage from opposition politicians and some within its own party, the government backtracked and said there would be another vote on the proposed suspension. Paterson then announced he was quitting the cruel world of politics. Before the government's about turn, a number of Conservative politicians had criticised their party's handling of the row, which commentators said reflected badly on the Prime Minister. The opposition Labour Party leader Keir Starmer accused the government of corruption and said Johnson was leading his troops through the sewer. You can subscribe to 5 Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5 Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.